Hello, my name's Kevin Wensley. I'm the Director of Operations at Offshore Sailing School, and I'm here today at one of our beautiful Southwest Florida locations. What we're going to be looking at right now is how to go about setting up for a spinnaker hoist. In the first instance, there's three component parts for flying a spinnaker. One is the lines that we're going to be used to actually control the sail when it's up. The other is the pole, and we're going to be using the pole to stabilize the sail when it's flying. And then the last thing we're going to be looking at is the spinnaker itself and how to actually bag it in a way that it won't have any twists, or hopefully won't have any twists when it comes out of the bag. To start with, I'm going to start by setting up the lines. Well, what we need to remember is that the sail usually will hoist from the side that is downwind, so the leeward side is where the sail goes up. So the first line that I'm setting up now is going to be the after guy. Here we have a twing, sometimes known as a tweaker. The purpose of this is very, very similar to actually what the jib sheet fair lead does. It actually controls the angle of the sheet and how it pulls on the clew of the sail. Very important to remember to keep all your spinnaker gear outside, and I'm going to run it through the cam cleat with a little arch on it. And then in the end of this twing, because I don't want it to go overboard, I'm just going to put a little figure 8 knot, little stop knot to stop that sliding out. My sheet comes through the eye here, all the way back, again making sure I'm coming in from outside through a turning block back here at the stanchion. This then runs to a ratchet block, and I'm just going to set the ratchet so I can hear it click. And now I need to set up the same thing on the other side. And these two lines, the after guy and the sheet, they're going to control the bottom of the sail. They're going to control the bottom two corners. Of course, what I need now is a line to take the sail up, so I'm looking for the halyard. The spinnaker halyard is the furthest outboard on the starboard side. And what I want to make sure is that the halyard runs fairly from where it exits the mast down to the same spot as the sheet and the after guy are. Okay, so there's the line set up. The next thing I'm going to do is set up the pole. Spinnaker poles always open with the jaws up. And you can see how this one's working here. It's got what's called a trip line. I can pull my trip line and it opens the jaws. I can work the jaw like a trigger, which is quite nice. But what I'm really looking for is the bridle that's holding the pole up. And the line that hoists the pole is called the topping lift. Make sure I've got the bridle for the top part of the pole here. I'm going to pull the pole up. I'm going to set the pole on the front of the mast. And so when the sail fills with air, it's going to try and lift, and this foreguy is going to keep the pole down. So in this instance, I'm getting set up for a starboard tack hoist. So the pole is going to be on the starboard side, and the lines are going to be rigged up on the port side. I also want to make sure that my after guy, and the after guy is this line here, I want to make sure that that's running through the end of the pole as well. So I'm just going to stick that through the jaws right now. The last thing to consider is the sail itself. And what I'm looking for is the head of the sail. Okay, so I found my head. So what I'm going to do now is accordion fold all down the luff of the sail. So what that means is I'm going to get hold of the head, keep it firm, and then I'm going to run my hand down the luff tape all the way and just bring the sail in. And both the lower corners of the sail are called the clews until one of them becomes the tack. So we're now starting to get into that tricky bit of spinnaker work where the same thing starts to have one or two names. And now I need to run down the green luff tape and accordion fold that in the same way without losing the folds I've already done. So now I've got my head and my two clews all nicely packed together. What I need to do is get the sail back in the bag without putting any twists into it. So there's my spinnaker ready to hoist. And if I've packed it away properly, when I pull the head out and the corners at the same time, then the sail should just open up and fill with wind. So there you have it. The lines are all set up, the pole's all set up, and the spinnaker's now packed. All we need to do now is attach them all together and pull at the right time, and everything should be good.